Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be showing you how the union tool works in ArcGIS Pro. As you might recall from the theory of union, it computes a geometric union of the input features, and all features and their attributes will be written to the output layer, right? And it's lying under, once again, analysis tools. If you go under the toolboxes, under analysis tools, under overlay, there's your union, or you can simply search and find union. So what's the difference between an intersect and union? When we use union, it's going to carry all the features, attributes, and wherever there might be gaps, it might try to fill the gaps, and it might also duplicate the areas where they are overlapping, right? So there might be duplication in your attribute table, double counting of layers as well. So as of now, we have two data sets. We have wetlands data and we have soils data. As you can see, the wetlands have 10,225 attributes versus the soils have 13,499 attributes. If I turn that on, I can see those are the wetlands and this is the soil type, right? So when we run union, in this case, I have already done it. So the first scenario, we have the wetlands and soils, and I'm doing the union by keeping the gaps unchecked, which means a feature will be created for an area in the output that is completely enclosed by polygons. This feature will have no attribute values and will have a FID value of -1, right? And we'll see what that means. And once again, if you read through, gaps are areas in the output feature class that are completely enclosed by other polygons created from the intersection of features or from existing holes in the input polygon. So there might be data gaps in your data set, right? These areas are not invalid, but you can identify them for analysis, right? To identify the gaps in the output, uncheck this parameter. A feature will be created in these areas, right? So the first output that is coming out of by unchecking the gaps allowed, this is that output. And if I see the total number, I can see 40,940 different features, right? And as you can see in the attribute table, there are quite a lot of features which have this FID soils -1, right? Which means those areas were generated for us, right? The gaps. So if I select one and do zoom 2, you can see right here on the edge by the shoreline, there are features that have been created. You can change probably the color. You can see right here, right? And as you can see, there's no soils data value or drainage class or geomorphic description for this, right? And it has 40,940 features in total created, which is a lot, right? So it is, there's duplication certainly across the data set, right? Now, with the second option or condition, we did check the gaps allowed, right? We did the same data set, wetlands and soils. In this case, we allowed the gaps, and let's see what happens. If I turn that on, once again, similarly, quite a lot of data set. And if we look at the attribute table for that, it's taking a second to load. There we go. So it has 40,880 features, definitely less than while we kept the gaps allowed unchecked, right? But even in this case, you can see there is the FID soils of -1, which means, features were created in certain parts, certain areas, right? And as you can see, again, it's on the shoreline areas. So once again, there might be quite a lot of duplication, but union can be a great tool in certain instances where you might have data gaps, or you can have holes between polygons due to inaccurate data mapping, or there might be some fault in data collection while you were in the field, or to represent specific features of a given area, right? So to represent the polygon boundaries concisely, the gaps between the polygons must be filled and the polygon features must be merged, right? So once again, in this, hence union can be useful in those conditions. But as you can see now, the difference between the intersect and union, if you look at the previous video of intersect, you'd understand what I'm talking about. But this is how union works, right? So in case if you have data gaps, there's holes in your between the polygons, those could be filled with union tool, right? And then you can assign individually them values as well as other information if you know the relevant information for those layers, right? Okay, so with that, that's the end of this video.